Alright, so I was just working on a beat. I guess I'll show you it real quick. Right? Working on a beat. And I was generally sitting here thinking, because I'm a rapper, I'm a singer, and I make beats, right? And this has been my mind since I was like a child. I've been making beats and rapping and shit like that. And it had me thinking that, so my girl writes, like she's an author type shit, or trying to be an aspiring author. And the way her brain is that like she can like imagine a situation that's not real, like I don't know, like fiction, like fictional authors, do their thing and they have an imagination so big that they have like whole worlds and whole, like there's people that don't exist and things that they do that don't exist. But I was just thinking how in my head there's so many melodies and so many, like if you listen to the beat that I'm working on, all that was in my head. Technically, it was maybe a little different in my head. It's a lot harder to take the music in my head and put it on a computer because I tend to miss notes because I don't know anything about music theory. Meaning I know nothing about, I can't read a music note. I have no idea what notes I sing. I have no idea what notes I'm playing on the computer. All I know is I play the notes that sound right to me. And the notes that are in my head, I try to match them with the keyboard. And if I'm saying dun 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 in my head, then I'm gonna try to find those same notes on the keyboard. But I guess I'm making this video because I want to try to explain to people, stop trying to fit yourself in a fucking box. Like, something about me is so many people look at me like I'm smart. I don't think I'm smart. I think I've just utilized what I'm good at. Meaning I'm really good at making music, so that's what I do. And if you judged me on the beats that I make, you would say, wow, you're really intelligent on this shit. You're really good at making beats. And if you judged yourself on making beats, if you've never used Fruity Loops, you're gonna think to yourself, damn, I'm dumb. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with this shit. And what I'm coming to the conclusion of is that everyone has a different thing. And like, I made a video not too long ago. I don't even know if I uploaded it, but it was basically about how people need to find their thing and find your niche. And I guess the reason is, and I don't think I released that video, so I'm gonna say this here, that most people are, this is an old saying, but most people are like a fish being judged on how to climb a tree, but you're not if you're a fish, then you should be worrying about how to swim. You shouldn't be worried about how to climb a tree. That's not your concern. Just like with me, I have a hard time reading, so I don't fucking read. I do not read unless it's like some research, scientific paper that I have to read. There's like scientific research that they put out and shit that you have to read that sometimes they don't make videos for. But if there's a listen button where you could listen to, like sometimes there's a listen button on these scientific articles where it'll read it to you, I will do that. And I'm not scared to say I prefer an audiobook over a real book because if I read the real book, I won't remember shit. I can't remember what I read. It's just the way my brain is. Some people will say, well, you need to try harder. And I say, no, that's stupid. Why would you try harder on something that you cannot do? You should try harder on the things that you can do. So what I do more is I listen better. Since I can't read good, I listen to people talk really, really well. I can take information in really well when it comes to people speaking. But like I said, when it comes to me reading, I can't really take that much information in. It's just the way my brain is. I'm making this video because I think everyone's brain is different. I think we're taught in school one way of fucking being, and I think this one way of being is wrong to most people in the world. Like, there is some people who the way that school taught you was perfect. Like, some people will say the way that school taught them was perfect, that maybe you were a straight A student and all this other shit. But even if you're a straight A student in school, that doesn't matter in the real world if you like don't apply the knowledge to your real life. So what I'm saying is, as a kid, in my head I would hear melodies. I would hear my own voice doing some singing shit, or like, and I couldn't even sing that well, but I wanted to, because that's all I focused on and thought about as I rapped and sung, and that's what I did. But if somebody forced me to be, I don't know, a mathematician, or if somebody forced me to be whatever, like it wouldn't be me. It wouldn't work for me, and I would have been judged as stupid. If somebody forced me to live a life that I was not meant to live, I would think I was stupid. I would think that I don't know what I'm doing. I would think this isn't working or whatever. And I think this is the main problem with our world, is that most people are doing things that you were not designed to do. Your brain was designed to do something. Look at Albert Einstein. They said that his brain, where math knowledge would be stored in your brain, they said that he had a bigger version of that in his brain. And that means that he was supposed to do math. Like, that's some common sense shit. But that is proof that everyone's brain is different. So you have to find your thing. Since a child, what the fuck did you do when you were a kid? What did you do before the world told you what to do? Before the world told you what you are, what did you think you were? Before, what the fuck did you just do? The things that come easy to you are generally the things that you're supposed to do. Like, making music necessarily wasn't easy for me, but learning it was so fun that now it's so easy. It's so easy to make a beat. I can make a rap beat in 10 seconds. But, that's why I really don't make rap beats, because rap beats are too simple for me. They're too easy. But, I don't know. I just think that everyone has their own different way of thinking. And I think really weird. Meaning, sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about the things I need to do to fix my life, the solutions, how to get there, and the process of what I need to do to actually get there. But a lot of people, they let their mind go on its own. And, I think this is about controlling your mind and figuring out who you are, what you are, and what you're supposed to do. Of course you're gonna feel anxious and anxiety ridden and shit if you're doing something you were not designed to do. If somebody was like, yo bro, the only way you can learn this shit is by reading these books. I'm not gonna allow you to watch videos anymore or listen to people speak anymore. You have to learn books. And I'm gonna tell them, I guess I'm gonna be stupid for the rest of my life, bro. Because I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna try. And it's not that I'm not gonna, I've tried the reading thing my whole entire childhood. If it didn't work then, why would it work now? I found what worked for me, and it was audiobooks. I found what worked for me, and it was listening to people talk about, their experiences, listening to people explain the information, or just listening. And I don't know, I guess to end this video really is, my brain is filled with nothing but melodies and ideas and theories, and I'm trying to build my life the way I want it to be, and I want to train my mind to manifest, a little easier, and I want to get rid of some old programs that I still run, because these old programs are the programs that are keeping me poor. So, I want to get rid of these old programs that I was taught as a child, put in new programs so they can be programs of abundance, programs of wealth, programs of whatever. But this is really all about you finding you. And I think I'm just gonna end the video by saying I chase a feeling. I do not chase money. I do not chase knowledge. I do not chase power. I do not chase any of that shit. What I chase is a feeling, and that feeling gives me knowledge. That feeling gives me power. That feeling gives me control over reality. Thoughts create reality type shit. And what I mean is that feeling is called being alive, right? Reading a book did not make me feel alive. It made me feel like I was in fucking hell. Listening to an audiobook made me feel alive because I can understand the information and I learned something. Making this beat right here, I could sit here and make music all day fucking long, right? All day long. Because I love making music. It makes me feel alive. There is no, right now in my life, there is no financial gain from me making music. Meaning I'm making this music for free. I don't have any ideas of making money from it. It's just what I love to do. But I think that so many ideas interfere with the real thing. The ideas of money, the ideas of paying your bills, the ideas of being a good parent, the ideas of being a good husband or being a good wife or being a good whatever, the idea of retirement, or all these ideas are brainwashing tools in your head to keep you from you. Because, the world will try to tell me I should focus on something else instead of focusing on music, because it's not supplying any food or it's not supplying any money. But I don't give a fuck about that. I care about being alive. We can all die tomorrow. And did you do what the fuck you love to do? And like, did you do the things that make you feel alive? And like I said in the beginning of the video, you know, my girl writes. So like, the same thing that I get from music, she gets from writing. And the way I look at it is, you gotta find your thing that you get that feeling from and do it. I also get that feeling when I make these videos. I get the feeling when I'm making beats. I get the feeling whatever. But I'm doing the things that my mind was designed to do. I trip balls and take psychedelics and explain psychedelics because that's what my mind can handle. Because I don't have past trauma I'm dealing with. That's not what my psychedelic trips are about. My psychedelic trips are about learning the information that the psychedelic had to give me. And that was just because the way my brain was. So I think we need to figure out how our brain works. Figure out what type of mind do you have. We also need to understand that men and women have a different mind. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Now, this might cause a controversy, and I'm not meaning to. But what I'm saying is, if you're a man, you have a more linear way of thinking. And if you're a woman, you have a more creative way of thinking. And it's just left brain, right brain, chemistry, chemicals in our brain and shit. But all of that really does make a difference. So I just generally think you need to figure out who you are. Like, are you a author? Are you a musician? Are you a rapper? Are you a philosopher? Are you a chemist? Are you a scientist? Are you a doctor? Right? If you're a doctor and every night you go home and you make music and shit, you're probably a musician. You're just doing doctor on the side, but really you're a musician. We should do more of the things that sets our soul on fire instead of doing things that condemns our soul to fire. You know what I mean? Because we tend to do things that put us in hell, that put us in a psychological hell. Like, whether it's working a job you hate, whether it's living a life you weren't meant to live. Like, if you're a painter and for some reason you don't paint because you feel like you need to pay the bills and that's more important than painting, so you don't have enough money for canvases and art, then you're killing yourself. And it's no one's fault. Like, the world, you could blame the white man's world, you could blame our society, you can blame whatever, but at the end of the day, it is up to you to do what you came here to do. No one's gonna force you to do this shit. Like, no one's forcing me to make music. No one forced me to learn anything. I didn't go to college, I didn't finish high school, but I'm highly intelligent because I forced myself to learn. I forced myself to learn this computer program so I can make beats. I forced myself to do all these things that I want to do because it's what I want to do. And we have to understand our mind and train our mind like the muscles on our arms. You need to learn how to train your brain because you say you want to be a musician. You say you want to start a business. Then you need to do things that fits that. But the problem is, if you say you want to start a business and your mind is not designed to be a CEO, then that's a problem. If you want to start a business but your mind can't handle actual entrepreneurship, actual business fucking problems, because starting a business is not fun. You might as well go work a job. You might as well go work at McDonald's if you want comfort or if you want something like that, because starting a business is not what it seems. Becoming a musician is not what it seems. All of this shit is not what it seems. It's not the dreams you imagined. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, you'll feel better if you have a full understanding of what you're walking into. So if you're walking into psychedelics, you need to listen to everyone who has done psychedelics a lot, the good and the bad. If you want to do music, you gotta listen to everyone who does music, the good and the bad. But you also have to analyze these people and think to yourself, do you think like them? Do you think like rappers do? Do you think like entrepreneurs do? Do you think like psychonauts do? Because if you don't think like a psychonaut, you're not a psychonaut. If you don't think like an entrepreneur, you're not an entrepreneur. These humans have a certain way of thinking. They have a certain way of thinking, being, and acting. So if you're not thinking like a entrepreneur, you're not one. If you're not thinking... I guess the thing is, you have to find out how you're thinking. Like, how do you think? The consciousness in your head most likely does not think the same way the consciousness in my head does. So you got to figure out what you're planning to do, because you can't do what I do. If you do what I do, it'll make you miserable. You have to do what you do, so it'll make you happy and it'll make you feel alive.